Just a little something to chill out to. So Tanya, just let us know when you're ready.
We are ready. Actually, I just walked into my studio. I just want to make sure everything was perfect because it is Verse Music IO's first Twitter Space. So I want to be like, it's something I want to be memorable.
Thank you.
So welcome everybody. So quick housekeeping before we start. Know that we're recording the space. I am live streaming the space to Facebook, Twitch, Twitter Live, and YouTube. And also that we'll be recording the conversation on our Headliner app. So know that you're allowing, when you grab the mic, you're allowing us to use your voice and your avatar. And if you have a question and you can't wait toward the end where we open up the mic, you can go ahead and in the bottom corner of the space, you can see the speech bubble. So go ahead and ask your question if you need to. But again, then we're gonna be replaying this space over and over. So I'll be live streaming this to my other social network. So, but today, it was really cool today that I was so happy that I was able to honor She Crypto with my women communication, by the way, because she is such an incredible. I call her the herder. She brings people together. She's always caring for other people, but also besides she does film NFTs. Film 3, she does music NFT too. So that's one of the reasons why She Cryptos today as my co-host.
Yes, it is my pleasure. I appreciated the flowers today. We had an amazing time. And so let's get the party started. I'm interested in the platforms and as an artist and as someone who makes music, we really have had a tough time as far as being able to sustain ourselves with all of these different streaming avenues. So I'm so excited to, kind of commiserate with like-minded individuals about this. And, for people who are building platforms, whether it's film or music, it's Web3. So it's imperative that we kind of stick together and give people platforms. So appreciate you, Tanya. So yeah, let's get into it.
So I saw Verse Music IO on a feed that we ended up following each other, and I DM and I'm like, oh my God, let me feature you because I know you guys are new. And it's like, oh, Zhang. Am I pronouncing your name right? Zhang? Is it right?
It's Zen.
Zen?
Yep,
Oh,
you're close.
I love that name, by the way. I was like trying to figure it out. I was like, am I pronouncing this right? But Zen, I love Zen. So I wanted to get to know more. I looked you guys up, and like I said, I've been a live streamer since 2009, really, and then my station Social Chat's been around since 2010. So we've been live streaming. As far as content creations go, my content is interviewing people, but I got into music NFT back in November of last year, and I started live streaming. I sit through like 6 hours of live streaming. You don't even know half the time I'm on Twitter Spaces. I was doing a lot of music NFT, and I know a lot of them, and I know a lot of questions they had was like, they really don't make much from the regular web too. If they say it's on Spotify, I know people that have like 1 million stream, and they say it doesn't give them much. So that's why I took this opportunity to be able to feature a new platform and talk a little bit about Web3 and also what does it mean by music NFT streaming platform. So today I have the CEO Zen on, and he's gonna give us a little information about him and what he does. And apparently according to your profile, you said you build Web3 game changer and stealth. So you've been building this for a while now. How long have you been building this?
Yeah, it's going on about 11 months right now. So it's been pretty much this whole year of between understanding the legalities of what goes on behind the scenes to the infrastructure needed to the teams to basically accomplish this. So it's been a fun but stressful year, let's say.
So before we start, can you tell our listeners a little bit about yourself? And again, we are streaming on all the social networks, so I just want to make sure. And then I'll explain to you how I do my spaces more. It's almost like a media advisory. So let's talk about who you are today, or who you are now. I mean.
Yeah. So, a little background on me. I've been in music, entertainment, nightlife for 13 years. Over the course of that time, I've opened up around 8 or 9 nightclubs and concert venues. Booked probably 500 to 600 musicians during that time, mainly major rappers and DJs in the electronic music realm. And pretty much at this point, for the past 2 years, maybe around three, I've been involved in blockchain, but mainly from node networks. I saw a real opportunity, and I believe, like from the validator standpoint, that's where the real power of crypto was. With the trustless process, that everything that goes on from there. I never was big into the whole flipping NFTs or trading tokens or anything on that end. But for the past year, I kind of took everything that I've seen between the friendships I built with musicians, the industry in itself, and what I've kind of learned from a more technical end with the node networks and the potential that NFTs actually have, like real use case wise. No offense to the PFPs and everything, but I saw there's real utility in it, despite what a lot of you would argue Web 2 sees them as. And that's kind of where we arrived with Verse, where our idea was to address, how, let's be frank, musicians for at least the decade, better half of a decade, they just been paid dirt on their royalties for their music. And additionally, on those platforms, they have no other ways to monetize. And of course, despite everything we're trying to build, in my eyes, there's no ill will against, Spotify and Apple Music and the likes, because they did come around due to a need in the market. When, of course, if you go back to LimeWire and Napster and everything, essentially they were stealing everybody's music. So musicians lost the ability to monetize, and that's why those guys had to come around and kind of fix the market at the time. But with Web3 tech, blockchain technology, I believe that there's a new way of potential business that can address and even improve on what was created before. And that's what we're trying to do.
So when you say like a node, are you referring to like integrating node functionality into the platform? So then it's almost like a royalty, it access royalties for people such as myself or other artists?
No. So the nodes that we'll be implementing, so there's multiple structures to our platform. So the first is to understand that Verse is it's a social music streaming platform, a first of its kind, where it's going to be your end user is actually able to stream, millions of songs, is the hope that we'll get a bunch of independent musicians. It'll continue to grow, and there'll be a millions of songs library. And then the second aspect is that we're creating the function where an independent musician that has no exposure to crypto, which is a massive part of the music industry. But we're going to go after about 80-90% of actual Web 2 compared to Web 3 users. And we want to give the opportunity to the everyday musician to be able to take multiple songs and put it to an NFT music album and be able to sell that directly to their fans, in addition to the streaming ability. And then the node network, I'm not too sure if any of you are familiar with IPFS node networks or something similar like Filecoin. We're going to create our own private network, and we're going to sell these nodes off to fans. And fans in turn will operate these. That'll create a decentralized hosting system so we can migrate away from, if you understand anything on where your actual music's hosted on streaming platforms, it's all on AWS. It's either AWS or Google Cloud. We're going to sell these node networks to fans, which in turn will spin up these nodes, and all your music content, album artwork, everything will be hosted by fans. So it creates essentially a decentralized storage system. And these fans will get rewarded in various ways for running this.
So it pretty much, it's like an incentivize. So you're incentivizing people and fans.
Yes. So let's say these nodes, when they spin them up, it's essentially like a server. So instead of, again, putting everything on AWS, we'll be giving the power to the fans. And the way they get rewarded, we'll have our Verse token that gets distributed through the nodes, on top of if any of the NFT sales, since Verse will take a small percentage of that, then we'll be paying out a network fee to all our node operators. So they're incentivized to wanting to actually operate these and keep the network alive, also decentralized on that factor. So there's no royalties per se off of your music that you are paying to fans. The way musicians make money with us is we believe that it's a fair system of going 50-50 on ads and subscriptions. Whereas when you think of like the Twitch and YouTube model, all the ads that come in, we're going to split them 50-50 with musicians directly based off of your actual stream time, not off of the current model that Spotify and Pandora and the likes use of. It's called a pooling method. What they essentially do, if you're familiar with that, is they take all the income that comes in and it's based off of your streams directly. And it, of course, who gets those? The major players in the music industry, the Drakes, the Doja Cats, whoever it is. And it's basically, it leaves off the everyday musician with cents. And I'm talking about really cents. You can get, 1 million streams and you're lucky to make $2,000 or $3,000 on those platforms. So with our system, if you look at it from a streaming end of just your fans, you actually make money off of your fans playing your music. You don't have to worry about brokering it and breaking it off with the major players, whoever's getting more streams than you on the platform. So it's definitely a new way or a new argument's sake, a new revenue model for musicians. But we think, given off of the success of how YouTubers and Twitch users out there, or Twitch, content and platform moderators, everybody out there, they make a lot more money, argument's sake, than some of your musicians out there that are putting in the same time, the same work, the same effort for producing just a different medium of content. And that's the model that we were looking to go after. And we believe, musicians are going to make way more because of it.
Well, it sounds, pretty exciting as far as like incentivizing like fans. And I'm always interested as far as, not just incentivizing fans, but also like the infrastructure of I don't want to say royalties per se, but I think that's kind of like where artists have really not been able to see over the hump for I don't know how long. So I'm really excited for people to even be thinking along the lines of making things even in a level playing field for the artists, so we can sustain ourselves. There are like so many different digital platforms where I feel like if your music is like overrun, like let's say TikTok, for example, like how many times have we heard the same stuff on TikTok? So if these people who have made these songs and they've gone viral on TikTok, just imagine if they would just get even just a pittance of what they deserve. And I just feel like that's what is coming. And kudos to you for even trying to, build on this, even like royalties. I've had placements. So, those placements, obviously if you're not being played, it kind of dries up, as you know. So, so kudos to you.
Yeah, thank you. And I'm happy you actually mentioned the TikTok. Because there is musicians now that like will put out a clip or a simple song on TikTok and they're literally going platinum. But guess what? They're not getting paid for it. And it's funny because one of the gentlemen that I did get signed up on our platform, of course, right now we're not live, but we're still developing. Beta release should be live by probably the first week of January. But we are taking applications for musicians that want to release. And one of them that came in, his name's Joe. He literally went triple platinum, argument's sake, off of TikTok. And how much did he make? Like, I think he made like $8 or $9. He was like laughing about it because he's like, yeah, I made money off of the TikTok ads, but they pay you dirt. So I have all this traction on some of these platforms and I make nothing. And that was my argument's sake. Again, I really believe verse can change the market, especially for a lot of independent musicians, that they don't have to go sign with Sony or Warner. They don't have to go sign away their rights to a different label that makes all these promises. Now with, the technology out, everybody has a phone on them. And statistically, people are listening to about 26 to 27 hours of music a week on different mediums. So if we can create a platform where all these musicians can go to and we can have a fair distribution system of ad revenue, I can't fathom why nobody has done it yet. and done it in an actual mainstream mass market platform that's actually fair to musicians. I don't get it.
Yeah, I'll be looking forward to seeing like when these pros or like Sound Exchange and all of these or something, you know, if they can kind of like merge. And it just seems like there's such a vast like deficit. So yeah, so there'll be different platforms popping up. And I just, like I said before, have to reiterate, I just will be waiting for the platforms that will actually be able to sustain like an artist. And it just doesn't seem like it should be such a big thing. It seems like, you know, that should be something by now where there should be algorithms that can be tethered, and I guess that is where blockchain comes in, because if you do have an NFT, it's a digital collectible, it's on the blockchain, it's intrinsically, yours, or it has a particular digital footprint. And then from that moment on, I guess, when it is created as IP, it can, like, you'll be able to be paid, some sort of way. So I think it's just more of the infrastructure and the mechanics in that way that have to be ironed out across the board. And, really just excited to, all these things that will happen. Like, first there was Netflix and there's Hulu and then there's all this other stuff. So just like with film, people are coming up with these things. And then I do believe that, it may not be called NFT. It may be called something else, but, just the groundwork is being laid. So, yeah. And what I'll do is anybody that I know that's Music 3 or that, like, I've had these spaces, because the thing about these spaces is it's not really about how many people are in the space. The smaller spaces sometimes are a little more conducive than the bigger spaces, because people can actually talk. And if anyone has anything to say, please raise your hand or anything like that. And you never know who you will connect with that will really, kind of take things to another level or help, will things into fruition, if you will. So what I'll do is anybody that I know, I'll look and see for your page, whatever that is, and then I'll send them your way, because it seems like, you have these spaces, that's where the magic happens. It really does.
Yeah, I would, from my end, I would love to connect. I mean, we already have over 40 musicians lined up, and it's growing every week. And if anybody would want to reach out and chat, I'm always ready for a call anytime. And if anybody in here has any questions or is curious on anything, how we're building, the NFT end, what platform, whatever protocol we're building on, feel free to shoot any questions my way.
Yeah,
can you tell us?
Yeah, for sure. Let us know. Like, is it Ethereum, or is it what blockchain are you on? And let us know.
Yeah. So currently I'm building on Near Protocol. The reason mainly for that, it's not as big as a protocol in the US, it's massive in Europe, but it's ingrained royalties into the smart contract is my biggest takeaway from it. That's what made me go after them after kind of scouting multiple chains. So a major issue for secondary market sales of music NFTs or any kind of NFT in general is that the creators, of course, if you guys have already heard, from Ethereum and Solana, these marketplaces are essentially doing away with any kind of royalties. And to me, that defeats the entire purpose of NFTs from a creator's end. And that's just, of course, them, going after market. There's so many competitors now. It's a business play. Well, like, standpoint of the musician, it's horrible. So with Near Protocol, you can actually build that royalty right into the smart contract. So no exchange, but no marketplace can take that away from the musician. And that was a big thing of us wanting to build on Near. It's extremely easy on onboarding. It's extremely easy to scale. So the hopes is, Versus goals to get, 5 million users over the course of the next 4 years. So if we did get to that scale and there was large scale minting of multiple, music NFTs across multiple artists at one time, Near Protocol is able to handle that. So those were the two biggest, from the tech end of our requirements to make sure that it's fair to everybody, and then the scalability is there.
I'm gonna have to do some research on their protocol. Can't say that I'm too versed in it, but that does make sense. From like a royalty or standpoint or residual payment. How about that? I see we have Carla Brenton. We have Ethos. Ethos is actually working on a platform that has to do with, I believe, like entertainment in general. And I know Ethos has like a plethora of spaces with a lot of a film 3 and music 3. And so I don't know how long you've been in the space, Zen, but like these little like things like this just help, to be able to touch bases with people who've actually been like immersing themselves in the space. So then you get more traction for your platform, and then people start to talk about it. And then now as far as the platform is concerned, is it like it's in beta now, or?
So we're currently still coding out everything. Beta testing should be about the first week of January, worst case second week of January. It's just there's a lot of back end work from, we're just so you understand, we're again trying to onboard the everyday Web 2 person into Web 3 in a very easy manner. So we're building out the functionality of self-generating a wallet for every single user that comes onto the platform in a 2-step process. Then to the whole back end of a musician being able to upload their own music, their own album artwork, creating their profile. There's a lot of work that goes into it, not even touching on the private node network that we're developing. So yeah, it's been quite a mission, to say the least. So yeah, we're still not live, but beta testing should be, in the next argument's sake, 6 to 7 weeks.
Okay, so say for instance, I'm a complete newbie. Like I know nothing about blockchain. I know nothing. Like, what is your tagline? Like, what do you think that would really just pull people in, that like people who just quote unquote make beats, so to speak, or even people who are composers? What would you tell them? Like,
yeah. So to be honest, I don't have an answer for you just yet on that, because I haven't even, most of the people that I speak to about this, I'm not trying to even pitch this as a Web3 platform. I'm just pitching it as a music platform, and we're running on blockchain technology. And I believe like that's the easiest way to onboard people, because most of the time when they start to get into the questions of, the everyday Web 2 person, I've kind of felt has, with the current media attention, has thought crypto is a little scammy, especially from the NFT ends, pump and dumps, or people, just running from anybody that creates an NFT in general. I've got a lot of negative sentiment from that. So the way I've been explaining is just it's a new music platform that has technology that nobody can steal your music. Now you can cut out third party middlemen and sell directly to your fans. To answer your question, I really don't have like a tagline. I just explain it out in just basic terms of how the music industry should operate, and let the technology speak for itself on the back end. A good argument's sake is like, if you think of like HTTPS, is that how you say it? The whole like technology that runs the internet, nobody ever really asks from your everyday use of like what that does or what it is. It's just they want to log into the website and they go directly to the website. So that's kind of like the premise I'm taking with this, is just explaining out what the platform can do, how it does it, and how easy it is to operate. And I've kind of been, to be honest, running with that.
Okay, fair enough. And so, like, if say for instance, I go to a space or something, and I'm talking, I say, hey, Tanya and I had this space with this guy named Zen. He's doing this awesome music, platform. Okay, now what exactly can I say to people that would differentiate you from any other music platform? That's what I'm getting at. So when I talk to people about what you're telling me, then I can say, hey, this guy is, what he's doing is totally different. And then, that way I can relate things.
Okay. I mean, pretty much the way I've been just telling people from a quick little one-liner was more of like, Verse is the first, social music streaming platform where a listener can stream millions of songs with the musicians for the first time get 50-50 ad splits. And additionally, they can sell their music directly to listeners using music NFTs, cutting out the middlemen. And then fans operate the node network where they host all the musicians' content, and in turn to earn rewards. And that's kind of what I've been telling. There's a massive technical aspect behind it, but that's, I would imagine, is the simplest way to kind of put it.
Awesome. Well, I see we have questions. Tanya, did you want to take some questions?
Yeah, I gave him the mic. MC Front Run. I'm actually, I'm obsessed with his music. So I'm so glad he was here. I just DM'd like, I'm so happy you're here. How are you?
I'm good. I'm very good. It's very cool that you're hosting this, and I saw your tweet about it. So yeah, I'm happy to be here. I really like the idea, Zen. You weren't kidding about having a big job, though. Like if you're going to build a version of IPFS, for music hosting, which is definitely needed, I think. But yeah, that's along with the platform. That's going to be a lot of coding. Is it just you doing the coding, or do you have a whole team?
Yeah, so our team, you're definitely right. It's a big task, but we have a small team of 4 right now. But I'm self-funding this entirely. I brought on a dev company that is put out probably around 1,000 different applications, websites, and they have an entire Web3 team to it. And we've been working closely for several months, and they're the ones that are basically contracting out everybody for me, running through all the sprints. And it's not me coding, to be frank. I am a business guy that loves music, entertainment industry. I do not code, but I am very quick to learn and understand a lot of the components that go on with it. So I have more of a high level view. But to answer your question, it's we basically contracted out a dev company that is potentially looking to buy into the company and help expand as a partner for the entirety of it.
Wow. Okay. I have a question about the nodes too. The fans who would run the node operators, would they be able to pick and choose who they host, or is it going to be just everything hosted distributed in between the various nodes?
Yeah, they would not actually be able to choose. We would automatically just randomly dedicate those songs to various nodes. But we do have in version 2 of the node network being updated that will actually specify to the fans of like what content they're actually hosting. But we didn't want to give the ability to the actual fans to host the music directly, like pick and choose, because to be frank, there may be certain people that, of course, they're a little bit more popular, well known, whatever it may be. Those fans in general, the larger populace, may try more often to pick those exact songs, which then in turns leave other musicians with nobody hosting their music. So from an actual standpoint of functionality of the entire system, we were just going to automatically dedicate songs to X node, X node, X node.
Multiple nodes for each song, or I mean, if one node goes down, would you end up losing a bunch of content?
Yeah, it'd be multiple nodes are hosting the same song.
Gotcha.
Our current estimate right now is anywhere from 6 to 8 nodes.
And interject, while we're having this great conversation, please retweet this room so we can get more people in if we can, so we can hear about the wonderful strides that he's making. This is amazing.
Yeah, this is really different because I haven't been really I've sat in a lot of music NFT spaces and learning a lot about different platforms, but everything you're saying I've never heard of, but I've never heard it from other people.
Well, thank you. No, it's a technology that's not really used much right now. Filecoin was pretty much the first to market with it. IPFS nodes have been around for a bit, but it's been always more a public network. Not many companies or individuals ever try to create their own private network. But when you try to believe that ethos of the actual distributed, decentralized aspect, it's one of the best ways, because realistically, if AWS or somebody wants to censor a certain musician, even though they own all the rights to their songs, everything they produce, essentially, if you, a platform, don't take it down, you still run the ability of AWS saying, nope, we're going to get rid of this, or we'll take down the entire, data stack. Whereas with IPFS, you can't do that unless a fan decides to take it down.
The non-censorship thing, or the ability to protect yourself from that, or from single entities like AWS, is very, very cool, and yeah, definitely something that's needed. What about DCMA requests and takedowns? Like, how are you going to be incorporated out of the US, or how do you plan on handling copyright issues?
Yeah, so right now, my advisor, who's a rock star, her name's Elizabeth Moody. She was actually like 4 years of global licensing for Pandora. We're trying to figure that out right now because there's two parts of this. We're trying to either make sure we're incorporated right in the US from a scaling end, or we may have to have some of this outside of the US because of the legalities with DMC takedowns. Now, realistically, it is going to have to be something addressed at a certain level of if the company does reach the, our scale of wanting to hit, 5 million users. So we are going to have to address that. But I don't have a full scale legal plan to present to you just right now. What we're doing is we're drafting up our terms of service where essentially every musician's signing off that they own all the rights, they produced everything themselves. And we're already devising kind of like a 2 to 3 strike process that if we do get a DMCA takedown in the meantime, before we figure out our entire structure, then we'll give them a strike. And if, repeated strikes, and we'll either demonetize them or we'll, of course, have to not have them put any music on the platform. Just to be honest, again, this is a completely self-funded project right now, with the hope to, of course, hopefully gain some investors down the road. But if we get multiple DMCA takedowns and, subpoenas and everything like that, I just frankly can't fund, all the legal battles coming along with it. So we have to be kind of strategic early on and devise a true actual pathway that we're not going to have to either deal with as many DMCAs, or the liability passes on to those said musicians that are essentially, stealing somebody else's work and uploading it.
Thank you for answering that question. And yeah, I don't. There's a whole. That's why I asked about incorporating the U.S. because that would make a difference from the legalities of what you'd have to do.
Yeah,
I've been thinking about it. So yeah.
Yeah, no, we've definitely, because that's one big part of the music industry. I mean, you'll have people try to send these takedowns that don't even actually own the rights to the music. They may be a competitor, they may be somebody that doesn't like you, and they get they'll report somebody and you get sent one of them, and it's a headache to deal with.
It's awful. The whole DMCA, everything about it is terrible in my opinion. But because it favors the giant record labels and the individual artists. I put stuff on TikTok or other original music that I created, and then they can't play it. Oh, it's immediately muted. It's algorithmically done. YouTube is the same. So yeah, anything that would a small place, YouTube can't, they have no idea how much is being uploaded all the time, right? But you could have an actual human look into some of these requests and takedowns and be like, okay, this is legitimate and this isn't. So
yep But I appreciate that question. I haven't got that too much yet.
I mean, I'm not a musician, but I just, Zen, I used to throw raves in the 90s. So when it comes to music NFT, it just brings me back the memories. I don't know, the community, how people are. It just brings me back the early 90s in the rave scene. So I've been live streaming music NFT quite a bit. I've had concerts, I've done it all. And, the craziest thing is YouTube is pretty cool because I don't really I really don't charge anybody. I just like to post stuff. But on Facebook is a different story. They'll be like they'll take my whole video, my live stream down, and I have to sit there and fight with them because the craziest thing is I actually have the musician who created it singing live, doing it live, and then the system says that it's that I'm breach of copyright. So yeah, I'm kind of curious about how you're going to be handling that too. But still, I mean, like the rate we're going, isn't AI really good these days as far as being able to pick up something, or are they just using Shazam?
No, there's the AI definitely is pretty good. A lot of the machine learning out now is it's getting better and better, but it's on such a massive scale that argument's sake, I'd imagine they're flagging stuff that's not really like it shouldn't be flagged in general, similar to what MC was touching on. So it's kind of a hit or miss. I think a lot of that machine learning, they're just going ahead and saying, okay, this sounds something similar. Maybe it's like the BPM or anything on the track. I'm not too sure on like the true end of what YouTube is doing to take those down, but it's definitely there's a degree of flaw in it. There's a major degree of flaw in that.
Well, I mean, for me with YouTube, I mean, I if you go on my channel, which is Social Chats, is youtube.com/social chats. I have a whole album for music NFT concerts. So music NFT radio, music NFT concert, and I mean, we'd go for like the longest, like 4.5 hours. We would go, and what I was is that they'll actually spit out the music for me, like who sang it and stuff. So but they really don't do anything, not that I know of. Maybe because I don't try to make money off of it or anything. I just have it because I like listening to it. So so Ethos, I want to go ahead and give the mic to you.
Hi, friend. Thank you so much. Thank you, She Crypto, for inviting me. Thank you, Tanya. Thank you, Zen. So exciting to hear what you guys are doing. I have crazy kids here right now, so I'll be short. But I think I have a few questions. One is, I don't know if you covered this, but is your platform going to have custodial or non-custodial wallets since you are an NFT-driven platform? I kind of wanted to know kind of what does that integration look like from a consumer perspective, because if you are onboarding the Web2 world, the interface is very important in terms of how they interact with the wallet and interact with, how the music component, the method that you're using in terms of the blockchain is interfaced on the platform. So that was number one. And secondly, I've been with YC Combinator since about 2015. We do a lot of lean startup, agile work in terms of how do we get product market fit. So when I think about NFTs and I think about the composition of NFTs in terms of reaching a Web 2 world, I get a little bit nervous because with Web 2 world, it has to be as easy as an Amazon Prime account. And so just trying to understand kind of what has been the sentiment in people interacting with NFTs in terms of the music experience versus the current streaming platform experience, not even talking about royalties, but just the design, the aesthetic, the UX and UI. So if you can talk a little bit about that, because I do believe, in what you're doing, I think your concept, I read your white paper, is very compelling, but I am also just wondering, like, you're reaching that Web 2 world. So how are we doing that in terms of the UX and UI? Because NFTs still are very, very niche. And so the learning curve for the user is very high. So how are we bridging that divide?
Yeah. Oh, great questions. So on the first question with the wallet, non-custodial. And the process we're basically using is when the user signs up to our website, of course, we'll get their information. The second step is an email verification. And then the third step is there's literally going to be a button that says generate wallet. They'll click it. We'll also provide them their seed phrase. There'll be a second step of clicking to confirm their seed phrase, and it goes directly to the homepage. Our goal is to make it as easy as possible for the everyday user, again, to onboard from Web 2 to Web 3 without even knowing they're doing it. But from there, every single account then would have a Near protocol wallet self-generated for them. And it on the back end, the contracts, it's already connected to their account. From the platform's end, again, it's a full streaming platform. I just put a little picture into the chat if you guys want to see some of our front end design right now. It's very clean. It looks like a traditional music streaming platform, not a lot of the stuff which you see, argument's sake, that's in Web3 right now. So if they were to go and actually, you know, the premise is they're actually streaming music on there. The music NFT albums are a different component of where the musician can go in, upload their music. We automatically generate that music album NFT. And the payment process on there, we're in the talks between MoonPay and some others, where it'd be literally a very easy onboarding of them either being able to pay with a, you know, a credit card, or they can pay with crypto, and their near protocol wallet automatically would interact with, of course, the music NFTs for purchase. And then if they were to purchase it, of course, it goes directly to their wallet right on the platform without them having to worry. And it would pop up actually in their own album music, which would be off to the left. So they would show off as like a playlist, or be on their actual personal account where they can play that music at any point. And then I think I might be missing one other question. If you could repeat it.
Yeah, it was just, sorry, I got a little whiny baby here. I was saying, yeah, and that was a great answer. Thank you so much, friend. Wonderful, wonderful response. Just looking at also just sentiment, right? Because there's a lot of research, market research and analysis that I've gone just to get to this point in our business. And so I'm just kind of wondering how many people are leaning into this idea of a streaming platform with NFTs? What's the sentiment when you're talking to not Web3 natives, but Web2 people, you know, the 97% of the people who are not here in Web3, what does that research look like? Because again, product market fit is also all about building a product that people want, not that is good, but that people will buy. And so just kind of wanting to get that market, like how long have you been doing market research? What's the sentiment? Who have you been talking to? Who are your beta testers? How are you beta testing? Have you done split testing? Have you done ABCD split testing? Because those things are so important, because we get all this money, venture capital, then we build something that's really expensive, and then no one comes to our party. And I just feel it's such a shame if that happens, because we have brilliant minds building beautiful products that maybe it's just not the right product market fit. And I want you to be successful. So just trying to see kind of what your strategy is, because if you're going into quarter 1 saying, hey, January, we're going to launch, like, I hope you have a lot of research to back that up, because the sentiment is so important beyond the UX and the UI, what people are going to buy at what price point, with what features, you know, all of that is so important. And so I want you all to be successful. So just kind of trying to see what that looks like.
Yeah, that's actually a very amazing question. So a lot of our research has been directly for musicians. And the premise on this is that I haven't had a single musician say no. Out of the 42, 43 conversations I've had with musicians directly, I've onboarded every single one that has wanted to get on this platform, because what we're doing is essentially rolling back the time to where musicians sold CDs directly to fans. And that's like the simplest way of putting it. And that's the way I want to present it to any user in general. People are already buying musician songs off of Beatport. If you were to go off of there and you're looking at any of the electronic music, that's where majority of them are selling their actual music to fans. So the onboarding process for here is presenting it in a similar fashion, where I'm not presenting a music NFT. I'm not presenting it as NFTs. We'll be using the term collectible albums. And from the musician standpoint, all they're simply doing is just selling a music album again. So from any of the talks that I've had, at least from the musicians' end, not a single one has said no. There's no hesitancy to it. None of them are saying, oh, well, we don't want to touch NFTs. It's the premise of, I believe, the way you sell it to the end consumer, which the whole premise of any musician conveying is we're selling a music CD or a music album. And argument's sake, there is plenty of people out there right now still buying music CDs or songs directly online. And that's, again, the premise of where we're going to sell it as. We're marketing this entirely as just a music streaming platform, not a Web3 platform, not a blockchain platform. we're essentially just having that blockchain integration on the front end, but your end consumer realistically would have no idea that this is a crypto platform in any facet.
Beautiful. Well, thank you so much. I wish you all the flowers, digital flowers. It's a grind, y'all, to be in this position of leading a company. So I just kudos to you, hats off, because it's a lot. It's a lot. People don't know. So wishing you the best, friend, and anything we can do to be support. You know, we're here for you.
Definitely appreciate it. It's not my first go around. I think this will be honestly my 11th or 12th company I've started. And most of them have done anywhere from like $1 to $4 million of revenue before I've sold them off. So I'm highly confident in how me and my team can execute on this one. Launched, a few mobile apps in the past that we scaled to anywhere from, one of them got to 12,000 users in 3 months, and the other one got to around 16,000 users in 4 months. So we'll be using similar like marketing approaches for this. And I think even outside of that, the pure desire for a platform like this from the musician sentiment, again, they get screwed on royalties, they get screwed on exposure, and they get screwed on the ability to connect to their fans on these actual platforms. And we're addressing all those pain points for them. So I have very high hopes, and I believe any of the musicians that get an opportunity to give us opportunity to test our platform out, we'll see the difference between us and, argument's sake, Spotify, Pandora, Apple Music, and even Audius out there. Not to say that we're on that level of competing with Spotify, but for the opportunity's sake, to a musician that does have the traction, can get their fans to listen and bring them to us, they're going to make way more money.
Printed, the mic is yours.
You knew I was going to come here, Tanya, and ask a question. And you know that I'm going to ask a very important question, Tanya.
No, you DM me and you told me you're going to ask some questions. So
yes,
ask away.
As a person with a disability, how accessible is the platform?
Well, good question, Brent. So from a standpoint of accessibility, it'd be similar to anybody using a traditional access point for a website. To be honest, we haven't really dove into a degree of making sure that it is accessible to everybody. Not to say it's not something that we're trying to avoid. It's just we're still in the development phase before our beta testing to find all our pain points. And during, I believe, beta testing, if you would love to hop on here, I would like to get your input. And
I would love the opportunity to be part of the user testing from a disability standpoint.
Yeah, no, I have no problem with it, man. I'd actually enjoy it because, again, that's the phase, I believe, that we'll be able to address any problems, make sure that there is ability for mass access and mass appeal. And it just, to be honest, yeah, it hasn't been an aspect that we've touched on just yet since we're still coding out everything. But I'll make sure to reach out to you and get your information after this, and we'll love to have you on here.
Thanks for letting me ask a question, Tanya, because that one is a very important question that no one else in this space would ask.
Maybe you can write a blog about it and then I can publish it for you. Because I think it all goes in all your branding.
Well, Tanya, write a blog.
When you are beta testing, you can, when you're done, I would write a review of some type, because it's really important, because, I'm in the process of making sure my websites are accessible, because that's really, really important. 2023, everyone has to make sure it's a very important thing for all web designers to look into. So,
and I appreciate you for being able to for allowing me to ask that question, Tanya.
No, I knew you were going to ask that. I wanted you to, because it's an important question, because there's a lot of people out there who enjoy really good music, but how accessible is the website, and how accessible it is as far as how can they control? Let's say some people might be a certain type of music, or the volume is important too. So I appreciate you for asking that. So, but it's about 7:52, and I promise then that we'd be done in 60 minutes, unless we have more Q&A question. But if anyone in this space would like to ask some questions, it sounds fantastic, because I've been looking at all the different platforms that we're on right now. And She Crypto, did you have another question?
No, I think that, I'm acclimated a little bit on like what, he is aspiring to do and what they're building. And kudos to anyone who's doing this. It's not easy. It's like the new frontier. There's no road maps, even though we actually, all the time we make them, but there really are no road maps or any maps to this. So it's not easy. So yeah, kudos and well wishes.
Well, I
Thank
just
you.
want, when you launch, I just want to be able to do a space about it. I'm addicted to Twitter Spaces, by the way.
Yeah, no, I'd love
I
to
think
have
we all
another
are.
one. And definitely as we get through our next stage, our next sprint, where we're actually making sure that the wallet functionality works, I'll even send that over so you can play with it and create yourself a near wallet and let me know if it was easy or not.
Well, I wanted the music concert, so music NFT concert. That was my thing. I'm like really, I'm a bit upset. When I fell in love with it again, music again, because I was into music in the early '90s, and back then Tiesto just started out. I mean, DJ Icy was a thing, and so I was, listening to when my first music NFT space, and then I started, hosting it, started interviewing the artists, creating the content, their promo, and by the way, the promo video that we did for this space, the music is She Crypto. She was so I was like, I'm like, sure you can, and when I tweeted out, I didn't get a chance to tag you on that part too. So I really am excited about everything you're doing, Zen. So hi Diaz, go ahead. The mic is yours. How are you?
Hey, Tanya. Thank you for having me up here. I'm well, thank you. I just want to say quickly before you end, say to the team there that this sounds like a really cool idea. I'm a musician in Web3, and I'm really keen to hear more. But I just want to say thank you for holding the space, and I'll be sending some DMs for sure.
Appreciate it, and definitely send it over. Love to chat with you on the side then, if you just hopped in. But yeah, no, we're trying to make a disruptive platform, to say the least, of what the industry kind of has been lacking for years, to say.
Well, I'm hoping that you let me throw some Twitter Space concerts for you. It won't get. That's all I'm focused on right now. I'm trying to wine and dine you. And then, like I said, I just enjoy doing it, and I have a Tascam mixer, so it's just depending what it is, and then back up She Crypto as my co-host. That'd be great too. But I guess I said it'd be fantastic if we can do, when you launch and you get all your artists, and we can host a space and kind of do a little quick intro. I think that would be great.
Yeah, would love to do it. Really would. I appreciate everybody's time, hopping in the space today. It's definitely our first one, but first of many to come, and I'm happy to do it with you guys. So we definitely recap, maybe the next several weeks or so, and you guys can fire off some more questions, see where we're at, and even possibly that we may even have a little bit earlier beta testing for you guys if you want to kind of click through stuff, and kind of see where we're really at as a product compared to what else is out there. But I really appreciate the time today.
Yeah, I'm gonna be cutting this up in little snippets, so it'll be fun, because when I share it out again, it'll be going out to all social network again. So again, I am so excited about your project, and you guys heard him. He's gonna let me do another space, because we're doing a music concert. I want to be like iHeartRadio, but verse. I see that happening. So
Well, you manifest that, Tanya. You manifest that.
Girl,
I think you're almost there.
all I know, if I can throw raves as the only woman that throws raves in the early '90s, I think I could do anything. That's what I used to tell people. I was like, if I could pull this concert off, this event off, I can do anything. So
Big
yeah.
fact. So yeah, Well, any closing questions? If not, we can close the space out. I'll definitely I'm gonna look at your page and see where. Do you have a page that is directly correlated to this platform?
So our website right now is just kind of I'm blanking on the term, but it's not our actual functional website. It's just
Okay.
It's a landing page.
yeah, landing page right now. It's
Okay.
a long day. So yeah, it's just a landing page right now.
But
And
on Twitter, do you have like somewhere where we can point people to as far as a page, or is it just your page for right now?
oh no, yeah,
No, it's like
it's tagged in here. It's Verse Music IO.
All right, cool. So that's what I'll do. And when when it comes to Web3 or Film 3, and yeah, 'cause that's what it's about. It's about interconnectivity. So yeah, thank you for your time. This is a good one, Tanya, as usual. Appreciate you,
well,
Tanya. Everyone else.
I knew you would love it because I also, besides this, I think about all the film, because they all had to have music, and then like all the artists, they all got to have music, because, and especially depending on what the kind of NFT they're buying and stuff. So, and then when I saw MC in here, I was like, oh, that's going to be a good space. And also, I really appreciate Ethos for asking incredible questions, because I love that. I love that we're able to get together, and then you got a chance to meet Brent, and Brent's gonna bring the disability aspect to it. Accessibility is important too. So, but I want to say hello to my friend Legion. Legion, thank you for popping up, and Butterfly Whisperer. Well, Spirit Piper, hello. How are you? Have you been? And then I think it's streamfi.io is in here too. So I appreciate everyone for being here. And oh my goodness, okay, we can't go yet because Tomas is here. I have to let Tomas come up. Oh, there he is. Hi, how are you? Tomas? I know he's here, so he'll pop in.
Yeah, hello.
He's,
Business as usual.
there it is. I was like, did you get a space bug again?
Yeah, it's business as usual. Space back at the beginning of the space. Hello.
How are you? How you been?
Oh, I'm just exercising my insomnia now. It's like 2 a.m. and yeah, just staying up at good.
Well, we're closing out the space. I appreciate you for popping in. Tomas hosts an incredible space too. I think, well, Tomas, what's your space? You do that. He does an AI space, which I always say I'm going to go. I do show up once in a while, but I put a notification, and then for some reason I don't get it. But Tomas, when is your next space? You have an AI one, and deep learning.
Yeah, we host it regularly on Friday on like 9 p.m. European time, pretty much. But I'm not sure what's like the timing for other time zones, unfortunately.
I think it's on Thursday for me. I don't know.
No, we are now
I don't-
hosting on Friday.
So now you moved it to Friday
Yeah, pretty much.
because you do it with Prince. So okay, awesome. Well, we're this is our wrap up show. If anyone wants to listen to the replay, you're welcome to just hit the link, or you can I pinned it in there if you want to watch this in a Twitter live. I have it it's on NFT Music Radio station. And again, She Crypto, another wonderful space. Thank you so much, Zen. I appreciate you. Brent, as always, thank you.
Thank
And
you,
Tomas.
Tanya.
Thank you, Brent. Thank you, MC. And Kiki, my girl. Thank you for being here. And Legion, thank you. And again, Spirit Piper, talk to you later. And Ethos, thank you so much. And also streamfi.io. Until next time, bye, everybody. I appreciate you.